What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Better. Welcome back to the channel, man. So, man, right requested, long time coming. You guys know the deal. The dark side of One Direction. Now, one thing I do want to say, it's a dark side. So, if it's a light side and there's two sides to something, if one has light and it's bright and the other is dark, bro, all you gotta do is put light on the other side. You know what I'm saying? That makes it easy. You know what I'm saying? Well, man, we just finna go get straight into this thing, man. Look, man, part 1 today, part 2 tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do 23 minutes. But if I'm really enjoying this thing, like, bro, I'm talking about, like, because I got work to do tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try to, like, it's like this with the One Direction content. Magnetic, North Pole, South Pole. You know, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get me away. Eventually come away. So look, man, I'm gonna try to keep that barrier 23 minutes. 23 minutes quality cam, and you stop. Don't be trying to go overboard. Look, man, we just finna go get straight to this thing, man. If you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I want to 9,000 subscribers. Not though. Hey, let's sit back and watch this movie. Let's sit back and watch it.
Anybody ready for this?
Oh, for God's sake, Niall!
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time watching me, hello, my name is Jasmine. This is my channel, Hey Angel, where I make One Direction videos, updates, reactions, entertainment videos, anything related to the 1D boys.
What she do? Hold up, man. Cause I ain't never saw her before. What she do? One Direction videos and updates. Oh my gosh. And see, like, be serious here though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. If she would have been consistent like this, bro, she been missing uploads for the last 5 months. This is gonna be a long video. She been missing uploads the last 5 months. She could have easily been at 100K. All right, let's keep going, man. Dang, I be talking up something. No wonder why y'all be telling me to shut up.
It's all here, but I also have a main channel called Jasmine Zaid. If you want to go check out my vlogs and other stuff, it's always linked in the description. So the video that I'm going to be filming today is a video that has been highly requested by a lot of you for months and months and months. Ever since I uploaded a Q&A a few months ago where I talked about how the boys were treated by their management, a lot of people have been commenting asking me to make a full-length video talking about the mistreatment and the truth about what happened while those boys were in One Direction. I held off on filming this video for a really long time because I was scared to. I was afraid that I was going to get things wrong, or I was also scared that I would make the video and it wouldn't.
Oh yeah, don't. That's the bad thing about, like, man, you get one thing wrong. Just say one thing wrong, bro. Oh my God, they try to cancel you. It's pretty bad, bro.
Be good enough or something.
That's why I just be like, some people be mad. I be looking at them like this right here. Like, what are you? Let me shut up.
Along those lines. But recently I've been doing a lot of thinking and I decided that I do want to do it. So I spent lots and lots of time gathering up enough research and information that I could to put together this video for you guys. I think the main reason I do want to film this video is to get across that yes, One Direction seemed to be a boy band that had it all, but there was a lot going on behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't even aware of. Okay. It is something that needs to be brought to light and that people should know about them because they went through a lot. The point of this video isn't to completely just like trash One Direction as a band and drag them through the mud and make it seem like everything was so miserable. There's a lot of horrible toxic things that happened in that band, but they all also have talked about the good side of it too. So don't watch this video and think that One Direction was just completely 100% awful. The toxicity was a part of it, but yes, they also had good times too. I'm just bringing awareness to the dark side of it, hence the title of this video. Another little disclaimer I want to make is that this video has nothing to do with Larry Stylinson. I know there's a lot of things that happen in One Direction that people relate to Larry, and a lot of people
I get a lot of comments
because of Larry and things they've done to Larry and stuff like that.
I get a lot of comments.
Yes,
man.
That's a valid point to make, but I'm trying to make this video about One Direction, not about Larry. All of my sources and places that I got quotes and information from will be linked in the description if you want to go and check them out for yourselves. If you want to read these articles and see where these quotes and such came from, I will definitely have my sources linked down below so you guys can go check them out for yourselves. So with all of that being said, we can get started with this monster of a video. Here we have the dark side of One Direction.
Let's hear it. This smells really good.
I'm going to try to make this video at least somewhat organized and break everything that I want to talk about down into sections and then subsections so that we can kind of explore everything together without getting confused and all jumbled up. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to things that were wrong with One Direction is how heavily branded and marketed they were by their management and their team and Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell. I'm finna punch him in his mouth. Y'all saw my... Let me shut up once again. Let me just shut up. Let's watch the video. You know what I'm saying?
One Direction was branded and marketed a very specific way in many different aspects to appeal to a young audience of teenage girls. Basically what I mean is how they looked and how they were perceived was completely decided by their management and their team and everyone in charge in order to make them likable and appeal to a certain specific audience. Like I said, in this case, it was teenage girls. I filmed a video before when I was talking about unpopular One Direction opinions, and in that video I mentioned that One Direction was not a band, they were a brand. And that is my favorite saying to use whenever I'm talking about One Direction and their mistreatment, is the whole brand not band thing, because they were so heavily branded that it really took a toll on them, and you'll see what I mean when I get into these subsections in a second. But there's just such a distinction between the band and the brand. Like, who are they really and who are they being made to be so that they can sell records? It's not uncommon for celebrities and artists to be branded a specific way in the music industry to make them seem more appealing to a target audience. I'm gonna use Kesha as an example. When Kesha was first put into the spotlight, she was told by her management to behave like this crazy party girl who just wanted to get drunk and have sex in order to sell her music. But later, when she was not with her record label anymore, she revealed that that was not her at all. And she made music that was more authentic to who she is. And now you see that she's a completely different person because she's being herself. She has said before.
I see. What? Now, this is crazy right here. So, like, obviously me, bro, y'all can't even see me pulling off that image. Like, I don't even look like, you know, somebody. So, y'all wouldn't know if it's cap, if it's some cap in the line, right? But see, me, I would have told them no, right? I would have told them no. Either A, they would have obviously threatened to terminate my contract, which that's completely fine. Or option two, you know, they would try to cancel me. Isn't that the same thing as terminate contract? What am I saying?
That persona was just completely not her. It was something that was made and created for her. So it wasn't like she was being herself. It was this brand that she was given. And it's the exact same way for the boys of One Direction. First and foremost, I think the lightest part about being branded is the fact that they were being told how to dress constantly. I think this is most prominent in the Up All Night era, obviously, because Harry was famous for wearing like blazers. And then Liam would wear like the plaid. And Zayn would have the varsity jackets, Niall would have like the polo, and then Louis obviously had stripes. This was their style. They had very specific set styles in this time, not even just on stage, but if you look at any of their photo shoots, live performances, they were all styled and dressed according to their particular like brand or set style that they had. That isn't something to really blink too much at. It's not really that big of a deal that they were being told how to dress, because I mean, they were really young at the time and they were new to the spotlight. So of course they had to have some kind of guidance, some kind of style. They couldn't just go out there wearing whatever they want and look ununiform, really. So I guess it does make sense that they were dressing a certain way, but I just decided to mention it because it goes along with what I'm going to be talking about how they were separated and branded a certain way as individual people. There's an article that I'm going to have linked down below where Liam talks all about how they were made to dress a specific way and how he couldn't even wear stripes. Like, he was not allowed to wear stripes because it was Louis' thing.
For real.
That's when I start having a problem. Like, you see these boys and it's like, okay, they're being told how to dress when they're on stage, when they're doing a photo shoot, whatever. But it got to a point where they were just not allowed to dress a certain way anywhere. Like, out in public, in pictures, or anything, because that was the other boy's brand. Like, Liam talked about how he could not be seen wearing stripes because that was Louis' brand and Louis' thing and it belonged to him. Another thing that goes along with being branded a specific way, or just having, not really being branded a specific way, I'll get more into the branding stuff in a minute, but right now I'm just talking about appearance restrictions. They were told throughout their whole career how they had to have their hair. They could not like pick. Harry opened up in an interview quite recently, like a few months ago, he opened up in an interview about how he was made to wear those like tight curls that he used to have in his hair back in like 2010, 2011, 2012-ish. He had his hair curly like that because his team made him have his hair curly like that, even though he didn't like it. He said in this interview that he didn't even like having his hair super curly like that. I did tons and tons of digging on this interview and I could not find it, so I deeply apologize for that. I really tried to find it, but I promise you what happened. I sat there and listened to the interview myself. If you know what I'm talking about and you find a link, please comment down below with the link and let me know, because I dug everywhere and I could not find this interview where Harry was talking about his...
Time to scout.
So you mean to tell me One Direction were playing games like this? What? Nah, it's an ad. With my mouse. Get off my screen.
He did do an interview recently where he talked about not being able to have his hair uncurly. Zayn also opened up...
That'll piss me off. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me how I wear my hair. You damn... You know what I'm saying? With your management team, hello, you know. But listen, though, on the real though, that's too controlling. Clothes to controlling hair. Come on, bro. It's my hair. Do you grow my hair? Bro, do you grow my hair? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, bro. You ain't finna come. You ain't, no, bro. What are you doing? You ain't finna. I don't know, man. That something was money. That's all it come down to, money.
Up about appearance restrictions when they were in One Direction. He talked about how he wasn't allowed to pick his own hair color. The Zayn we know now has had many different hair colors, but back in One Direction he didn't, because they wouldn't let him.
They wouldn't let him dye.
He wanted to dye his hair and he couldn't because they wouldn't let him. The only thing they let him do was have the blonde stripe in his hair. That was fine. But other than that, they wouldn't let him have his own hair color, and they even wouldn't let him grow a beard in the beginning. Zayn did not want to be clean shaven. He wanted to have his face like with a beard on it or like with stubble on it, and his management would not let him. Straight up told him that that goes against their image and that they don't want to look older. They want to keep them how they look now, and he wasn't allowed to grow facial hair. Zayn said, and I quote, "It was mainly my beard, honestly. I wasn't allowed to keep it," he said. "Eventually, when I got older, I rebelled against it and decided to keep it anyway. That was just because I looked older than the rest of them. That's one of the things that is now quite cool. I get to keep my beard. I also wanted to dye my own hair when I was in the band, but I wasn't allowed to." That's a direct quote from Zayn himself about how his management would not let him dye his hair and would not let him grow a beard. So those are just some of the appearance restrictions that the boys had. There's plenty of interviews where they talked about how they were meant to have their hair a certain way, couldn't do certain things, had to dress very specifically, couldn't wear specific things. But it's not just about the appearance. The branding thing also applies to their personalities, roles in the band, how they behave, and how they're perceived. So basically, right from the start, when One Direction signed with Simon, they were assigned these roles or aesthetics or whatever you want to call it in the band. I think the most obvious one was them branding Harry as the flirt, womanizer. Even before the boys got out of the X Factor house, producers and Simon were already trying to brand him as a flirt. Like, there's segments on the X Factor where they make Harry like play a segment where he's like trying to go on a date with multiple girls.
Why haven't you returned my text? I don't believe this.
And there's even more girls. Why have you not returned my text?
Hold up, bro. What's up with that collar, Harry?
This gets better, doesn't it?
Honey, I've texted you like 5 Unbelievable. How many are there?
And everyone's like, oh, Harry's the flirty one. Like, he was branded that way before he was even out of the X Factor house, which blows my mind, and we'll get into more of that later. Like Harry and his womanizer image, that's a whole other thing that we need to talk about. But all the other boys had their roles too. They branded Zayn as this like super dark and mysterious, cool kind of guy.
They sure did.
And they branded Liam as like, you know, the daddy of the group, the sensible one, kind of holding the band together. They branded Louis as like this class clown, funny boyfriend material type of person.
And not thinking about this stuff like this, bro. Okay, let me ask you. Did they make Louis, or did they try to tell Louis that he has to be loud in the X Factor Diaries? Did they tell him that Louis needs to be the one making, you know, saying, you know, crazy stuff in the diaries? Or was they not branding him yet, or was that all Louis?
Which that was fitting for Louis at the time, but then as Louis grew up, his brand changed. All of them kept the same brand pretty much their whole like time in the band, except for Louis. He started off as like the funny like boyfriend material type of guy. You know, he was dating Eleanor, like this regular girl who went to college and all that stuff. So they branded him out to be like this average boy that you would meet in your hometown, which makes him relatable, which makes people want to like One Direction. That was the point of the brand. But then later, as Louis got older, they changed his brand completely, and that's a whole other thing I want to talk about too. But you get the point. All of them were branded a specific way with their outfits and their personalities and how they were seen to fans and to the public. Now, this may seem kind of harmless, but it ended up actually really interfering with their personal image and their lives, and ended up staying with them and being carried with them throughout the rest of their time in One Direction. And I'm going to give you some examples. This is what Zayn had to say about his brand in One Direction, like how he was branded and marketed. Quote, "I'm actually quite easy, a happy-go-lucky sort of guy," he says. "But there was a lot of situations that were almost created to make me be portrayed as the mysterious or quiet one. I guess that's just something that people buy into, and it helps them sell things. It's a product that's already designed and it sells." So Zayn said it himself that he was branded as someone that he's just not. He said it himself that he feels like his management was branding them specific ways to get things to sell, and that's exactly what they were doing. But it's just really sad to read this quote because Zayn said that he's like not the mysterious one. He wants to be happy-go-lucky just like the rest of them, but he couldn't. Another thing going along with that is Zayn being the quiet, mysterious one also caused a lot of trouble with like racism. Zayn was the only member of One Direction, obviously, who was a person of color. A lot of people agree that it's fucked up and that he shouldn't have been put through that. There's a whole article by The Fader where Zayn opens up about being the only one in a group of boys who's like a person of color and, you know, he's Muslim and stuff. He opened up about it and how hard it was for him at times with fans giving him a rough time and his branding and all of that. So if you want to check out the full interview, like I said, it will be in the description. It's definitely worth a read. I got a lot of information from Zayn from this just one interview, this one story. Had lots and lots of really useful information as to how he was treated when he was in One Direction. Then that brings me to what I was talking about earlier, how Harry's image is also harmful. We talked about how Zayn's image is harmful and how that's not even who he is, but for Harry, it's the same way. He was branded as this flirty womanizer that likes older women since he was 16. Like, he's still a kid. Like, he's 16. Not even 17. Not even 18. Like, 18 would still be pretty bad, but 16? So then by the time he was famous, he didn't have a chance to show the world who he really is. He didn't have a chance to be like, hi, I'm Harry Styles, this is who I am and this is what I stand for, because his management decided it for him before he could even go out into the world and prove himself. They already decided.
That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's some messed up stuff. You know, that's messed up. It's messed up stuff, man.
For him. Nope. You're a flirty womanizer who wants to sleep with older women and wants to sleep around. It makes me so angry, so sick to think about that because that ended up following Harry his entire life. Still to this day, people like to think that he is that way.
It do. You know what I'm saying? I think I said in, what video was that? Lights Up. You know, he had, and Watermelon Sugar, though. He had, like, you know, women in there. I like, you know, yeah, Harry, you know, got the ladies and stuff like that, but I ain't mean that like disrespectful way, you know, not no disrespectful way. So don't be going back on those reactions and disliking the video, you know, don't be doing that, you know.
It's something that has always followed him his entire career. He grew up in the spotlight with that label on him. Hundreds and thousands of people not even knowing him personally and just being like, oh yeah, the flirt, the womanizer, the one who sleeps around, like without even giving him a chance. Because that's how his management wanted him to be branded for whatever reason. Which eventually spread to like media. So then interviewers will sit down with him and think it's perfectly funny and normal to sit down and be like, oh, so how many women have you slept with? Are you looking for an older woman? Or making parody songs about him liking older women and all this. Like, they just think that that's their place to just do that because that's who he is. When it's really truly not. And there's been countless times when Harry has tried to defend himself and he has said it over and over again, like, women are not objects, treat women with respect, and I'm not like that. And he's always tried to say that. He's such a gentleman, such a kind soul, but people just look right over that.
Cara Delevingne dating
Extra Factor host Caroline Flack with an ever-growing list of women attached to
Famously dating models, actresses.
Aborted fling with 32-year-old.
He has a thing for a cougar or two.
She's just a friend. Right.
14-year-old Cara walking down the runway.
I know what we're doing.
You've dated probably more, am I right in saying more high profile?
I guess.
Yeah, there's gonna be a sex symbol loved by every girl. Sex symbol loved by every girl.
That's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
You're like what? You're the womanizer, right? You're the guy who likes the ladies. No, he'd gone for his special massage.
I wasn't aware of it.
It was special
It was the
massage.
back and shoulders. Just clarify.
The lady looked really happy.
Harry, there was a rumor that you had a crush as well. Is that true?
Me?
Bro, we had a Beethoven. You know what I'm saying? This is some loud piano music, bro.
I hope. Come on.
No.
Really?
Harry?
I mean, I have a lot of friends and...
Come on. Harry, there was a rumor that you had a crush as well. Is that true?
Me? I hope. Come on.
No. Really? Harry?
I mean, I have a lot of friends.
Oh, he was mad on that one.
Some of them are girls, and apparently I'm dating all of them.
She probably put this loud music in though, so it don't get blocked, boy. Cause they don't be playing, boy. With the interview, they don't play. They don't play, bro. They don't play with it.
Has to go through a lot of different things for being Mr. Harry Styles.
People write about Harry all the time in a negative way with all his love life and stuff. I think, you know, it'd be nice to get it out there that he's actually a pretty genuine dude.
made it this year. Was he crying for real?
Can you imagine what kind of effect that must have on him in his entire life? Like, that's going to grossly affect how he sees himself, because the world perceives him in a way that's just the complete polar opposite of how he is. I could say it a million times and I still wouldn't be able to feel like I'm getting my point across, but that obviously affected Harry very greatly. Like,
off
like
the
I said,
screen.
It still follows him to this day. Moving on, Liam, his branding was also somewhat harmful to him. Not as badly as Zayn and Harry's, but he did open up about how he didn't even like his branding, his label, because it greatly affected how he saw himself and how he felt like he had to behave even when he wasn't in the spotlight. I'm gonna read you a paragraph from an interview that Liam did talking about his role in the band. Management took advantage of this, he says, telling him his very specific role in the group was to keep the rest in line. I was like, that's great, innit? Because then everyone in the band thinks I'm a dick. He remembers one of the band's first hotel stays. We've got plates being thrown out the window, mattresses being ridden down the stairs, and I'm getting calls from the manager saying, you need to sort it out. It wasn't lost on the fans, where Malik and Styles were heartthrobs. Payne says he was classed as Mr. Boring. When you're at the stadium and you get the least amount of screams, it's like, for fuck's sake. Not only was Liam branded as like this...
You right. Hold up. That kind of hit right there. Hold up.
And you get the least amount of screams, it's like, for fuck's sake.
Damn. I mean, well, damn. You know what I'm saying? But look, listen though. Okay, listen.
It wasn't lost on the fans, where Malik and Styles were heartthrobs. Payne says he was classed as Mr. Boring. When you're at the stadium and you get the least amount of screams, it's like, for fuck's sake.
Bruh, that hit right there, man. That hits, bruh. Because, and let me tell you why, because Zayn do get the least amount of views, man. He get the least amount of views. That man get the least amount of views though, like music videos and stuff like that. Cause I know Zayn's music videos do pretty good. Harry's music videos do pretty good. Zayn, all right, hold on. Now, let me refresh my roster. It's Harry, Zayn, Liam, Louis. Oh, Niall. But yeah, dude, Liam gets like the least amount of views though in his music videos, like out of everybody. At least what I saw. Now, I don't think I'm too wrong on it though. Like he kind of gets like the least amount. Dang, that's crazy.
Only was Liam branded as like this daddy, like care manager type of person. Like, he was literally forced to be that way. Even when there was no cameras or videos or whatever, not on stage, they were in a hotel, the boys are acting up, and their management calls Liam and tells him to deal with it because he's the dad of the group now.
Is it probably because Liam's... No? Liam's not the oldest, is he? No?
What? Why is that Liam's job? Why are you telling him to deal with it? Why are you making him be the sensible, boring dad type of person? I had no idea that it was like that until I even read this interview. I thought that like these labels that their management was pushing on them were just like on stage or whatever. But no, these were like things that followed them into their daily lives. Management made Liam be the dad of the group. I can't even imagine like becoming famous and then being told you have to be this specific way because how you are isn't good enough. Like you need to be this way to sell records. Like, unbelievable. So then that brings me to another little rant about Louis and how he was branded and how that affected him. Like I said, Louis' branding in the beginning of One Direction was pretty innocent. It was kind of fitting for how he behaved anyway. They saw his like class clown personality and decided to roll with that branding and made him into this like funny, like sassy, easy to relate to, I want to be your best friend type of person. But that stopped working for them. Obviously, because Louis is nothing like that now, which I've kind of talked about before. Part of that is definitely growing up. Obviously, Louis is almost 30. He's not going to be running around acting like a child anymore. But another part of that is his management. They changed his branding, I'd say well into like late 2013-ish is when Louis' brand and how he was perceived by the media and the public was changed.
Bro, what just happened in the background? Like you can hear. That's the same sound it did when my garage opened up. So I was like, dang, is it my garage opening or her garage opening? But
very drastically. They started making him out to be like this super aggressive type of person. Getting in all these fights and being super sarcastic and not getting along with his fans and spinning stories in the media a certain way to make him look like just unbearable. He was more tamed, so to speak. And there's a theory that kind of goes around in our fandom that Simon had Louis like fly out to see him specifically to tell him to stop behaving the way that he was. Because it's no secret that Simon did this. Louis has opened up in the past about like getting put on a plane and flying out without the other boys to talk to Simon alone. Like Simon requested him to come alone. Then he came back. So a lot of people really think that he was flown out to talk to Simon so Simon could yell at him that he was behaving in a way that they didn't like and that he had to change.
See, Simon Cowgirl. That's what I'm gonna call him, Simon Cowgirl. You're not finna yell at me, buddy. Listen, man, I'm telling you, man. And the only reason he could get away with it is because, you know, obviously he got like lawyers and stuff like that and whatnot. But I was looking at my phone, and but like, man, I'm telling you, bro. Like what I told you guys in that last reaction, I'm a respectable fighter. So I would ask him, bro. Listen. You like he not finna yell at me. That's not what he finna do. So I would gladly tell him, bro. And see, and this is the biggest thing. With all this stuff going on right here, you could literally, so I would be like, yo, Simon, yo, let's fight, blah, blah, stuff like that. I would make sure he ready. You know what I'm saying? I respect a fighter. Like, if I can beat you, bro, I'm not gonna, no cheap shots. I'm gonna make sure you ready. So he was like, oh, well, man, you know what I'm saying? If we fight, man, I'll just kick you out. I'll terminate your contract. But I'm telling you, bro, you do that, man, oh my goodness, bro, you would have gained like the utmost respect. Like everybody would have respected you, everybody would have not respected him. And you know, you guys know what it is. You know, let me shut up once again. Let's go on with the video.
Branding that they forced onto Louis, like later after he grew up a little bit, ended up following him into his life now, kind of like I said with Harry. Like people still perceive Harry as like a womanizer flirt. People still perceive Louis as this super aggressive person who only cares about going out and partying and smoking and getting drunk. Literally how people see him. Like people just choose to ignore every other thing that he says about himself and just see him as this like super aggressive, homophobic, I don't give a fuck about anything type of person. Louis has said in interviews before that he's a romantic at heart, that he wears his heart on his sleeves, that he likes candles. He has fairy lights up all around his house. He likes flowers, literally daffodils. He likes to read books. And people just completely disregard that. And they're like, oh, Louis, vodka, Red Bull, oi, oi, let's go party. Here's a pack of cigarettes. And I know that Louis gets like that sometimes. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, that's his aesthetic as a person. But that doesn't mean you get to just completely ignore, like, the soft side of him, you know? It's so damaging and harsh to make Louis feel like he has to be super masculine and aggressive like that. He doesn't have to be like that. Exactly who he is perfect. Like, literally in Habit, when he says, took some time because I ran out of energy of playing someone I've heard I'm supposed to be, I use this lyric as an example a lot because it speaks volumes. Like, listen to him. He's literally screaming at the top of his lungs and y'all are not listening to him. He's tired of playing.
I wasn't because I think when I reacted to Habit in Walls, man, it was like a couple songs before that I almost died. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I almost died, but you know, I got real dizzy. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Let me shut up once again. Let's go on.
Someone he's heard he's supposed to be. It's really obvious too, as time goes on over the years, if you watch like Louis' behavior on camera, how much he changed. You could tell that he was being slowly media trained out of doing things that he used to. There is also often times where it's very clear that he's making jabs at his management or at Simon directly. Like, he's very like shady about it a lot, especially now. Like, Louis does a lot of things now and like in the past few years as a solo artist that kind of jab at Simon, especially when he was on the X Factor with Simon. Simon was trying to be like, oh, I'm so proud of Louis, like I'm glad that he's on the X Factor with me, like he was his little pet dog or something, and it makes me so uncomfortable because Louis is clearly very uncomfortable with Simon and clearly does not like him. It seems like he's being heavily influenced by him, kind of like Simon has had some kind of hold on Louis since he was 18. It's also fair to mention like you know what
I'm saying, respect to Louis, but I wouldn't personally, man, I would not sit by that man. I wouldn't even work with the man no more, you know. I wouldn't even Just get me far away, you know.
He made it director's cut. There's a scene in there
I gotta watch
all
that
about
too.
this like
I gotta
boss
watch the
man
director's
who's
cut.
very manipulative, grossly manipulative, and it's like obvious that he's some kind of like leader in the story, like in a position of power. And a lot of people compare this scene to Simon.
I decide what you do and when you do it. Understand? Good boy.
The hold that this man in the video has and the hold that Simon has, it's scarily similar. And I think it is very obvious what Louis was trying to allude to in this music video. In this part, at least. It didn't make the final cut, but he still released it. Basically, I'm just saying that it really ended up taking a toll on Louis being branded and perceived a very specific way. A lot of people now just disregard him as some homophobic, aggressive, I don't give a fuck about anything, smoker boy, and completely disregard like the relationship he has with his fans, all of the wonderful things that he does to support the LGBT community, and how well educated he is when it comes to politics and everything involved with that. And they ignore how loving and sweet he is and the things that he likes to do outside of being like aggressive, you know? It just sucks that people choose to not acknowledge that just because of how he was perceived in the media and stuff when he was in One Direction. This next little section that I want to get into is kind of similar to what I was already just talking about. It kind of branches off on that, but it's more about being controlled rather than being like branded and marketed a certain way.
Oh, dude, whoa. Yo, that was only one issue? One Direction had their entire lives manipulated and controlled by their management, not just their opinion. By their management. I thought their management was Simon. Don't laugh, bro. Don't laugh, alright? I thought that was... Dang, that was all one issue?
They were very, very heavily controlled when they were in this band, which the whole branding thing is part of being controlled, but they were controlled in many other aspects as well, and I'm going to talk about them. So obviously it was really hard for their management to fully control how these boys behaved in public, because it's like, yes, you can media train them and you can tell them like what to say and how to be when they're in public, but they still have their own like conscious choices to make. But it's easier to control them when you're doing it via social media. Their management literally tweeted for them all the time. There's a very distinct difference between how they tweet when they're tweeting and how they sound when their management tweets for them. There's been multiple instances where people have literally caught their management tweeting for them. So whenever management feels like they need something to happen, for whatever reason, they will literally go on the boys' pages and tweet for them, regardless of if that tweet is something that the boys agree with or not, or if they're doing something they agree with or not. It doesn't matter. And that goes along with planning quotes in articles too. The thing about One Direction's management is that they're able to have paparazzi photos of whatever they want, and they're able to have articles published about whatever they want. If they want to stir up a crazy rumor about one of the boys that's completely not true, they have sources that they can run a story to that's completely fake, that magazine or publisher, whatever company, will literally run. And then the entire world believes this crazy story that their management planted. Like, where did this rumor come from? It came from the management themselves. However they want people to see these boys, they can do it just by calling up their sources, calling up their colleagues and being like, hey, I need you to run this completely bullshit story. And then people are going to believe it. Another thing with that is like paparazzi walks or pop walks, whatever you want to call them. Whenever their management wants them to be seen out in public with someone, they do. Like, they'll literally set it up, stage it, whatever. They'll go outside, hire paparazzi to come and take pictures of them doing whatever they want. That kind of goes along with being in like publicity relationships and being seen with people. Like, it happens a lot in the music industry. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about with One Direction happens in the music industry. That's just how it works. So even if they really don't want to, they don't have a choice. Their management's like, you're gonna get seen out getting coffee with this girl and you don't have any say in it. We're gonna hire paparazzi to come and take pictures of it. Kind of going along with that, like, the boys are always instructed, or were always instructed to do things just because their management told them to. Like, one video that comes to mind in particular is when Harry was literally instructed to give Caroline Flack a big bouquet of flowers when they were going on to do an interview, and instead Harry chose to give them to Ollie. So basically what I'm saying here with all of this stuff is that they were just completely controlled. They really didn't have any sense of freedom. If you put together all of the branding that they went through and like how they had to behave, and then you add that with them being constantly told what to say, quotes being planted for them, being forced to go out and be seen by the paparazzi with whoever they wanted, and not being allowed to say and do certain things, like all of that in this one bubble is like them being completely controlled.
With Squarespace, editing and adding pieces on my e-commerce site is quick and easy.
Get off once again.
And it gets to a point where it's like, these boys were not human beings. They were like money-making robots to their management.
Heck yeah.
Their management
Use
didn't give a
them for
fuck
money.
about how they wanted to dress, how they wanted to look, how they wanted to be perceived. They took these boys and they turned them into whatever the management wanted, whatever Psycho wanted. They had no sense of like freedom and like creativity, like they could just be themselves in this band. Like no, they were just completely controlled in every aspect. Another thing kind of going along with what I'm talking about that's really just messed up when it comes to their management and Simon is that in the first era of One Direction, Up All Night, they didn't even believe in Louis and Niall at all. Like Louis and Niall were pretty much useless to these people. They were just there to be there. They didn't give Louis and Niall like solos, and when they did get solos, they were short solos or they were not really solos because there was another boy like harmonizing with them while they were singing. I think that's a really well-known fact, is that these boys didn't get a lot of solos, Niall and Louis, in the Up All Night era. But not only were they robbed of solos, there was so many different times when Niall's mic would be cut off. And talking about this is going to make me cry. It makes me so sad. They would legit sabotage him. Like in his own band, they would cut his mic off so that he would be singing and nobody would hear him. So a lot of times when Niall's mic would cut off, Louis would have to give him the microphone.
That's messed up, bro.
Can you imagine how that must feel when you're this young boy who's in this like super rapidly growing in fame boy band? Like they were becoming really, really famous in this time, and you want to be there just as much as everyone else. This is your dream, but they think you're not good enough. Then why am I here? Why are we doing this?
Yes, I just started crying while editing this video because it's getting to me so bad. But just another thing that I wanted to mention is that like this whole Niall's mic getting cut off thing happened so often that fans started trending like hashtag let Niall sing, and that became like a really, really common saying back in this time because fans were so used to Niall not being able to sing. And since this happened to Louis back in this time as well, like him not getting enough stage time and like solo time, he ended up saying later in his career that he didn't even want to go solo when the band broke up because he didn't feel like he would do well enough. And that stems from him always being made to feel like he wasn't good enough when he was in One Direction. So that's why I'm so incredibly proud of Louis and Niall now, because they've overcome so much of that and now they're both doing perfect, and it makes me really happy.
And that just goes along with what I'm saying, like whatever their
that's jacked up. That's crazy.
Their management wants for them,
30 minutes
they will make that happen for them. Oh, I don't want this boy to sing. Cut his mic off. Like, he doesn't get any solos. He's not good enough. Like, you don't get to sing. Like, whatever they wanted. Constantly. Moving right on with the whole controlling thing.
See, that's another thing. You know me, I get up and listen, I would tell them to shut all the music off. Mid-song, I don't care. Listen, mid-song, bro. I grab whoever mic working. So, Louis mic, come on. Hey, better turn my mic. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I would be, bro, I'm telling you, bro, like, cause that's annoying. Like, okay, once, twice, okay, it's like, maybe I can handle this in private. Why are y'all turning my mic off? Bro, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if y'all do it more than twice, okay, I got you, bro. I got you.
Though, another thing is like sound and lyrics, which Zayn has opened up quite a bit about not being allowed to do certain things or have a certain style when it comes to singing. On this subject, Zayn said, quote, "There was never any room for me to experiment creatively in the band. If I would sing a hook or a verse slightly R&B or slightly myself, it would always be recorded 50 times until there was a straight version that was pop generic as fuck, so they could use that version. Whenever I would suggest something, it was like it didn't fit us. There was just a general conception that the management already had what they want for the band, and I just wasn't convinced with what we were selling." So he's basically saying, like, no, management has their mind made up. They know exactly what they want One Direction to sound like. So when Zayn tried to sing something like he would in his own voice, they would make him record it over and over again until it sounded like their management wanted it to. I get it in the beginning.
Hold up right there. We finna get up out of here after that right there. But that's crazy. So re-records after re-records just for it to sound like how you want it. You know what I'm saying? If you want it to sound like how you want it, you get your ass up in here, you come record this damn shit. You know what I'm saying? That's pissful. That made me kind of pissed off, bro. Like, I like this video. It's very informational, but it's pissing me off, you know, to the slightest extent. This is some crazy stuff that they went through. I ain't know about all this. So look, appreciate you guys for putting me on. Part 2 tomorrow. Finna get up out of here, edit a video, and do some homework once again. Hey, finals is about to be hit on in a couple weeks though. So hey, you know what I'm saying? Give me like a month off. I'll be chilling, man. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the reaction, man. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit the like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Come back tomorrow. Part 2, Dark Side of One Direction. See you guys in the next one. It's Big Boy Quality Care. Everybody stay. Peace out. Love you guys, man.